When the Assembly of State Parties meeting kicks off at the UN headquarters behind me in New York tomorrow, Kenya will have one main object: to convince the legislative arm that serious amendments must be made to the Rome Statute in order to ensure that the ICC conducts itself properly. But the battle for Kenya begins on day one, tomorrow, at the door, by trying to get its supplementary item added to the agenda to begin with. During the ASP Working Group Convention convened in New York on 20th November, members of the group, which include international human rights groups, argued that the Kenya matter should be left out of the agenda. They say the political nature of Kenya's proposals could undermine the independence of the Hague-based court. And they are not the only ones up against Kenya. Three top ICC officials, President Sang Hyun Song, Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda, and Registrar Herman von Hebel, have said that some of Kenya's requests interfere with judicial matters which strictly belong in the courtroom.
Information is shared.
In October, Kenya's permanent representative at the United Nations, Ambassador Macharia Kamau, wrote a scathing letter seeking to have a supplementary item added to the agenda of the ASP meeting, citing various issues including alleged interference by special interest groups and the continuation of cases where no evidence existed.
We are a state party to the Rome Statute. We have had much more experience in the court than any other state party, and therefore we actually have the moral authority to raise these issues.
But among the more controversial requests Kenya has made is to propose amendments to Article 27 of the Rome Statute, granting immunity from ICC prosecution to sitting heads of state and their deputies. Civil society organizations like Kenyans for Peace with Truth and Justice are on record saying Kenya is attempting to push for changes that are contrary to the Kenyan constitution. They cite Article 143 sub-Article 4, which prohibits immunity for heads of state for crimes that would be tried under a treaty that prohibits such immunity. It is unclear when the Kenya matter is expected to come up for discussion, but according to a journal on the proceedings, the agenda of the 13th Assembly of State Parties meeting is expected to be adopted on Monday. Kenya may move to have its supplementary agenda item adopted then. And therefore, while there isn't specific mention of Kenya, there are general debates scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday this week, where it is believed the Kenyan delegation will raise their objections to the court for discussion. Anne Kiguta reporting for Citizen TV from the United Nations headquarters in New York.